Good evening, Los Santos. My name is Patty Lambay. I am your resident truth seeker, spotlight wielder, and professional tie hoarder. Welcome back to Last Week Tonight, the show where we take a week off and forget to put up an episode. So I'm sorry about that. Been very busy. There's been a lot of chaos. We're thrown into a blender. We hit puree, and then we serve everything to you in a nice Weasel branded mug. Well, guess what? Sometimes it takes a little too long to fill up that blender, okay? I apologize. It's been a wild couple of weeks, okay? Weasel News has officially taken to the skies with our brand new helicopter Pigeon 1. Thank you to the success of our little ticket raffle for that Pegasi... I can't remember what the name of it was called, but Jake Williams, congratulations. I hope she's treating you well. Pigeon 1 is fast and loud, unlike most of my ex-girlfriends, but hey, she responds when you push her buttons, eh? So, we'll be hovering over your neighborhood. Who knows? We could be there tomorrow. We could be there in 5 minutes, documenting the traffic jams, the shootouts, and maybe even that time you accidentally brought home expired milk. That being said, helicopters weren't the only thing flying these past 2 weeks. Oh, no. The accusations were too, and we'll get right into that. Some of you may remember my passionate meltdown on the last episode of Last Week Tonight about the Los Santos Workers Union and their mysterious money pot, the Union Growth Fund. I mean, investment fund. Yeah, it's not a money pot. Shit. Well, anyway, being the responsible journalist that I am, I invited down the man of the hour himself, Mr. Damien Cross. I couldn't get him on the phone last time, but this time we got him in the studio. You're going to hear from him now shortly. But let me just say, when someone shows up to your office for an interview with a bodyguard who looks like the love child of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a Halloween skull prop, you know you're either going to have a great interview or a very short life expectancy. Mr. Cross went on to explain that the Union Growth Fund, or the UGF, which, by the way, still sounds like a bad energy drink, is here to help local businesses get on their feet. It's a great idea in concept, right? Except for one smaller hiccup, which I still have a question about, is that the fund sits at $500,000 after the investment of 5 investors. They're all on the union board, he says, all covered above slack. But that's only $500,000. According to that original document, it was supposed to start at $1 million plus the investors. But hey, I don't know. He knows what he's doing. He's got an escrow set up for that. He's handling it all. He's going to tell you about it here now in a second.
Well, Damien Cross, as you introduced me, as current president of the Los Santos Workers Union. Now, the UGF has come under some scrutiny, especially on the account of Weasel News, but you got your information all wrong. The UGF, the Union Growth Fund, is a tool that got a couple of capable individuals together that will focus on local investments into the local community to improve competition in the material market and get businesses up and running smoothly with union support. That's all it is, and there's nothing more to it. We're just here to help out the little man that wants to start something on his own without the government's help.
Why isn't that clearly stated in that pamphlet then? Because there's a lot of jargon in that pamphlet. If you know what I mean, there's a lot of words, but that doesn't clearly state, to me anyway, that you're using this to grow or provide services to the business in the city.
There's 2 pamphlets, right? The one you used conveniently on your little pitch there on the news was one to recruit investors into the fund, right? We needed 5 people who were capable and willing to put their money where their mouth is and invest into the community. Now, there is a second pamphlet for the actual up and running UGF now, out and about, which clearly states that we offer financial aid to those that want to start a business. We also offer legal aid, and also all the individuals on the board will help your business succeed. So if you want to read more into it, there's a new pamphlet out there about the current state of the UGF. The pamphlet you used was just me trying to find investors who wanted to actually help the community move forward.
You weren't planning on making this available or using this until you had these investors in place, so to speak?
Exactly. First off, I was just looking for between 5 and 10 people who wanted to support the local economy. And I found those 5 people eventually. And now that it's up and running, we had the first ever board meeting. Now we're looking to actually help fund a couple of businesses, you know. So now the second pamphlet is out, and if any business out there wants to start a business but doesn't know how or lacks the funds, they can get in touch with us. Now the fund has accrued 5 investors, so the fund is currently has $500,000, and now we're looking for businesses or individuals who want to start a business of their own to invest into and help them move along. So let's say you want to start a taxi company, you come to us, we say, okay, how much do you need? We give you that money. And then we are also invested into your business, right? Let's say we buy 20% of your business. And then we also help you get that business moving and make it a success with legal aid, as I said. And every individual on the board is very capable, has their own network they can rely upon, and can help your business become a success.
Is the portfolio that you're using for this fund publicly accessible?
It's not publicly accessible. The board members can view it. Now, we have an escrow, right? There is a lawyer that holds this portfolio, right? He is in control of the bank account. He controls the funds, let's say. So none of us on the board actually have any control over what happens with the money. Only the lawyer has. Like if we need the money to be used somewhere, we have to get in contact with a lawyer. So everything happens above board and is very legit.
All right.
Yeah. So mainly I will be the spokesperson for this group of for this board, but the actual financials is being handled by a third party that we can all trust. We here at the Los Santos Workers Union are there for you. We're here for the people, the hardworking men, to aid you. And the more people support us, the more people we can help as well. We're only looking out for the best interest of every hardworking man and woman out there in any way we can. We're trying to get trucks back on the road. We're trying to make sure that everyone makes their money fairly so that people don't have to resort to crime, which is absolutely rampant in the city. So please, join the Los Santos Workers Union and let's make this city a better place together. Thank you.
That was Mr. Kreis right there, talking about the details, explaining everything down to the nitty gritty. But now to follow that up, I was wondering about if this fund is investing in a local business and that business just happens to flap over. You know, let's just say I'm selling my ties out of the backseat of my van or something. And, you know, I takes a loan from this growth fund, but then I defaults. I'm out the money. I'm screwed. He's out the money, and his investors are screwed. But apparently, that's by design. It's high risk, zero reward. Because his investors at that point are shit out of luck. There's no insurance. There's no safety net. It's just a big old oopsies. But hey, it's all legitimate and above board. Or as legit as he's claiming it to be, which I think is about as trusty as a parking meter out in front of the Alta police station. However, after the cameras stop, I did bow down on one knee and offer a polite apology to Mr. Kreis, just in case my words a couple weeks ago, you know, they nearly launched us into lawsuit territory. But let me be clear, okay? Paddy Lambay does not back down from chasing the answers. I will take that flashlight and shine it down an alley. Unless, of course, my flashlight reveals someone in the shadows chasing after me. And then I'm going to back down very, very quickly and I'm going to run away. But we're doubling down on the union this week. There's a lot of news spiraling around. And again, this is some old news, but we're bringing it to current news because that's what we do here. And I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball. Mr. Kreis has announced that he is launching his very own political party. The the Workers' Civic Council, or the WCC for short. His claim is that the city hall runs like an autocracy. They do what they want, they do what they will, and they do not ask questions. They just do it. And he says that he can do it better. So he's going to counter with the power of democracy, which is the opposite of autocracy. It's a bold strategy considering that the democracy here in this state usually lasts about as long as a hot dog at the Vinewood Hills barbecue. And no, I'm not talking about the pet show last weekend. Part of his new dream is getting truckers back on the road. It's a very democratic price of $75,000 for a trucking license. Yeah, that's right. For 75 grand, you too can enjoy the privilege of sitting in traffic while everyone yells at you on the radio. Or barrel down the streets at 140, killing everybody in front of you. Whichever you choose. Inspiring stuff. Buster Watson and Emma Madrazo were on scene at the courthouse to get word straight from the source, and we're going to roll that for you right now.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for showing up. Because that's how change starts. People showing up. My name is Damien Cross, and I stand before you not as a union man, but as a representative of something new. Tonight, I officially introduce the Workers' Civic Council, or WCC. Now, what is the WCC? We aim to be a political movement built by and for the working class of this city. We believe in representation for those who sweat, grind, build, and carry this place forward. We believe in collective strength, fair systems, and real accountability.
Did somebody say triple? Because there's more. Okay? The union is a hot topic for this episode. Okay? It seems like it's been a topic for the last 2 episodes. But it is what it is. Because there's stuff circling. There's blood in the water. And my flashlight's running out of batteries. In the midst of this entire apology and interview down here at Weasel News, Mr. Cross decided that he wanted to throw a jab my way, suggesting that Weasel News, us, the truth bringers of this city, where we are 10% fact, 90%, that's sort of wrong way, 10% fiction, 90% fact, us fluffs and pads our stories for financial gain. Now, listen here, all right? Weasel News doesn't fluff, and we don't pad, except for the cucumber I keep in my pockets. What we do, okay, is shine a flashlight into the shadows of this city. And sometimes that light reveals corruption. Sometimes it reveals the truth. And sometimes it just reveals an old boot and a half-eaten Hot Pocket that a raccoon is currently shoving down his throat. But it's still news at the end of the day. And funny enough, though, some very interesting information has slid across my desk. Some shadows coming to light, specifically regarding Mr. Cross and his alleged, and I stress alleged, and his street rolling ties to a local gang. But hey, who am I to judge? I'm just a guy with a great tie and a helicopter named after a pigeon. We interrupt this broadcast with a quick advertisement for a brand new business open up here in Los Santos by the name of the Pine Hub. I know what you're thinking. It's a little down, a little dirty, a little over there on the west side of town. But make sure you go check them out, all right? We got an ad for them. We're going to roll it right now. We got them down on the casting couch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down here at the Pine Hub. Look at this beautiful place. There's shit everywhere. And especially 2 lovely gentlemen on the couch. You bet you've seen this movie before, but I guarantee you haven't. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us all about your business.
So I am Rin. The co-owner here is Jacob with me, and we own Pawn Hub. We are the only pawn shop in Los Santos now, and we are happily opening today.
Grand opening today. So what kind of services can you find down here at the Pine Hub?
You know, people have been stocking up. They've had a bunch of like old TVs, microwaves, just a bunch of old appliances they might have had, gathering dust in their storages, their garage, maybe a car that they forgot they had. And, you know, we're here to just liquidate some of that and give them a little bit more cash in their pockets for unwanted items.
So you're telling me that someone can come down here with their rusty old microwave that's covered in spaghetti stains and walk right in here, hand it to you for $20 cash?
Yep.
You got a deal. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you come on down to support your local pawn shops. Look at all these people. The business popping. It's booming. You got any special plans coming up for your grand opening, or is it just going to be open the doors and let them float in?
Doors and floodgates come in as best we can.
Exactly.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Patty, back to you.
Thank you.
So, before I go, one last little bit of juice I need to squeeze out of this lemon. Little cherry on top of this sundae of contradictions. Weasel News has been approached by the What's Mine Is Yours Incorporated, apparently, regarding some current issues at their front gate. The mining company had a lot to say, and it all starts with a contract promising not to support any rival businesses. It was very official, very binding. May or may not have had a couple of signatures on it. I don't know. I didn't see it. Except I was told that within days of signing this paperwork, Mr. Cross had gone out and taken a paid management position at, well, you guessed it, a rival business known as Atlas Mining. And I followed up with Mr. Cross via text message to confirm this and ask if he had a paid salary position with this company, and he confirmed. However, this is the same man, of course, who questioned our journalistic integrity. I'm not angry, Mr. Cross. I'm not even upset. I am just deeply disappointed. But wait, there's still more. As if contracts and rival businesses weren't enough, Mr. Cross has now taken to picketing at the front gates of What's Mine Is Yours. I've got security cam footage. I've got cell phone footage. I've got firsthand conversations with people live at the scene when this occurred. Of Mr. Cross standing outside like an angry mall Santa, warning and ordering, stress that word, ordering his union members to avoid the mines entirely. Why? Because apparently the owner screwed him over, or screwed the union over. Are we talking about the part where you violated your own contract and they just cut the ties? Because I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty legitimate reason to throw you to the curb, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, nothing yells leadership like yelling at your own supporters to boycott a business that's been grinding away for months. And here's the kicker. Mr. Cross claims that this mine has a monopoly on the drilling technology that they use within their mining operations. A monopoly, which I'll remind everyone, these drilling technologies that they use are some fancy mirror laserized tech crazy things that I can't even seem to process. I haven't seen them firsthand, but I might take a trip down there and take a look at one myself and see what it's all about. But I'll remind you that these were invented by Ms. Marisol Falco Cortez and her husband after years of hard work, perseverance, and actual sweat equity working alongside her employees. This was funded through grants from the Cerberus Assembly, no less. So yes, technically, they do have the monopoly, the same way that you would have a monopoly in Monopoly when you buy the boardwalk. It wasn't handed to you. You bought it, you earned it, and then you waited for everyone else to land there so you could bankrupt them at family game night. That's not corruption. That's called capitalism. That is how Los Santos as a whole works. It's hard work, innovation, perseverance, and patented technology. That is how you make your millions. Not by shaking the cup for handouts and hoping that the city chips in. That's not business. That's busking. And believe me, if you want to busk for money, I've got a pile of ties in the back seat of the car that you can borrow. The jazz flute crowd pays pretty well, specifically down there on Spanish Ave. So to recap, this crazy 3 weeks in Los Santos, the union up in our grill, poking buttons on the receiving end of a flashlight. They're building political parties. They're doing everything they can to make sure that they do what's best. Truckers are being asked to cough up 75 grand for a license. And I'm pretty sure our new helicopter, Pigeon 1, already has more financial stability than the majority of the Union Growth Fund. And yet through all of this, people still question Weasel News' integrity. Well, let me be clear. Our stories are never padded for money. They're padded because I'm long-winded, I'm insecure, and I'm terrified of the dead air. The only thing that we've sold out is my tie collection. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, every time you see me without a tie, know that it's not because I'm being casual. It's because pretty much they've been panned off in exchange for envelopes full of suspiciously warm cash, labeled bribe money in Comic Sans. At this point, though, I'm basically running a one-man Etsy shop. Silk ties, paisley ties, clip-ons, all going straight into funding the truth. Who needs advertisers when you've got an underground tie cartel? So if you see me on the air next week in a bolo tie or, God forbid, a shoelace around my neck, just know that journalism is alive and well, and also very, very broke. I'm Paddy Lambay, and this has been Last Week Tonight. Stay safe, stay skeptical, and if you want the news, buy a tie, please. I'm begging you. I'm running out. Meet me out back. PSA, I am very pro-union. I am pro-workers' rights. When you go about it in the right way. If you're violating contracts, harassing people on the street, or straight up telling people that you think they're taking cash for stories, none of these things inspire confidence in me. Take care, everybody.